The tension in Nigeria's political landscape is gradually building up, with the back and forth in the PDP and its presidential zoning, to APC's maneuvers on defectors, and the suspension of the Labour Party House of Assembly member and the Anambra State House of Assembly, plus the rumor heightening on possible defection of Enugu State Governor Peter Mbah to the APC. Is it going to happen today? Is it going to happen tomorrow? We'll keep our fingers crossed. This is the Eastern Eye. I'm Alex Ogbodo. Welcome to the Eastern Eye, a program that x-rays the political, social, and economic developments around us. Joining me tonight is Dr. Rapulu Nduka, the former National Publicity Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Eastern Eye tonight.
Thank you, my brother.
I guess that the first question will be, how is the AGC going?
Oh, the AGC has been beautiful. I think one of the good things that has happened to the bar, and it's really something that has helped change our perception. For people who live maybe outside the East, they always had this impression that the East was about violence and the sit at home and everything. So the AGC has been very beautiful, and I must say that Enugu has been wonderful. The governor has actually made our stay for this past days a beautiful one. In fact, I'll tell you the truth. While I was stepping out of the ICC just a few minutes ago, I met a guy and a lady, and they were asking me. They all said to me, "So this conference is now over?" And I said, "Okay, yeah, it's over. By tomorrow, everybody will be going to say, hi, I wish we can extend it a little bit." So it means that they must have enjoyed themselves, and it's been wonderful. It's wonderful.
All right, thank you for providing that perspective for us. So let's talk about the political issues cropping up in the country. The PDP obviously are deciding, that their presidency will come south. Well, a lot of people were expecting that pronouncement in 2023. It didn't happen. But some other people think that them saying, okay, they are going south, is more like they don't have a choice. So what is it you think about what has happened in the PDP with all the patches you've seen and defections to the APC? Do you think that the PDP is ready to get into the 2027 elections as a powerhouse opposition?
Well, if you ask me, I would say, first of all, they're not ready. Because the events leading to where they are right now shows that they are just about, if they are not in power, then they've missed out on everything. And sadly with Nigeria, I have a problem with our political actors and everything. There's no ideology. When you travel abroad, you see somebody who tell you that has been a Republican for years. When you talk about the Republicans have their ideology, the Democrats have their own ideology. And when they act, you know that they're acting based on their ideology. In Nigeria, nobody has any ideology. We shift base depending on what we will be getting from the whole situation. And now, anybody who looks at how PDP got to this stage that they are in now will tell you that something has gone so wrong. Immediately they left power at the center. Everything started, breaking apart for them. Because if they had held on to being a proper opposition party, they would have had a very good chance of maybe bouncing back. But the internal wranglings, some members of the PDP are busy. While in PDP, you are destroying your party, and one leg is in APC. You are trying to help APC. You are destroying your own party for whatever reasons you have in mind. And so, how can they actually build or be prepared for 2020? It's actually done for. I believe that and you can see the defections going on right now. Everybody, the governors. It's quite sad when I see these defections moving over to the APC, and you ask yourself, the question I keep asking, what is the place of the common man in this whole thing? Because apparently the common man has no place in the whole thing. It's just about maybe making sure that they secure their hold on power. And that's it for them. So you see them moving over to the APC, and so obviously I don't know how many PDP governors are still in PDP. And even with the rumors going on, most of them are still eyeing the moving over to the APC. And it's quite sad. But so obviously they're not prepared for the next general elections. No, they're not. They're not. They're not.
I mean, interesting times. And there are also elements who are suggesting that the PDP might endorse Atiku. I'm sure you've seen that.
Yes.
That the PDP might endorse Atiku in the ADC. There are a lot of things cropping up in the country. Do you see that scenario playing out? Because now the argument about zoning is that, all right, that power should stay in the South until 2031.
Yes.
So if that is the case, do you see the workability of the PDP backing Atiku? And at the same time, some elements in the PDP are suggesting that. Not the PDP, they haven't made that pronouncement, but perhaps do you think there could be a big implosion in the party, that some persons there may break away the way some persons broke away in 2023 and supported Tinubu?
Yeah, definitely. On the first place, you remember what Wike said at some point. He said that his reason for having one leg in the APC, well, although he still says he's a PDP, but the reason is because he was betrayed and he was not given to the South, and Atiku was given the ticket. So, well, very good reason, but so the reality of the matter is that however they play it, there's a likelihood they gain that they may also want to give Atiku again the ticket. Now, if you ask me to give an advice, but that politicians don't listen to advice, they just do whatever is on their mind. I would have suggested that maybe Atiku wait a little bit until the 8 years of the South is done, then he rotates back again to the North. But then if I play the devil's advocate, I would say that Atiku is not getting younger. And one thing about politics that I know is that nobody has any guarantees for tomorrow. So anything can happen tomorrow. The dynamics may change. So any agreement that you have at some point, maybe just wait and it will get back to you. You're not too sure of what will happen tomorrow. Things may just change. Everybody remembers what happened during the Jonathan time with Yar'Adua and Jonathan coming into power. So things can actually change, and so you don't know. But the reality of the matter is that if that happens, it will raise up a lot of more disgruntled persons within the party, because Atiku has what it takes to win the primaries. He does. Every check is history. Every now and then, whenever the primaries happens, even when they had the one in PDP that I think Tambuwal just turned around, even with all the promises, Wike believing that this was his man. He turned around and supported Atiku when the chiefs were down, and everybody changed immediately. So if we look at the trajectory, how we got to this place, I sincerely think that it will create more disgruntled persons if the ticket is given to Atiku, whether of ADC, whether of PDP, however it is, it will create more disgruntled persons within the party. But then I would also say, who is more likely, maybe with the history that we already have, the likely person to get it, if he decides to run for the primaries, will be Atiku. But then justice would demand, or would say, don't go now. Because one of the problems that we have in Nigeria, which sadly the politicians don't observe, is equity and fairness. People preach whatever they want to preach whenever it suits them. I'm sorry I'm saying it, but I remember when somebody said when Tinubu was running for election, they now said it's bringing up this narrative that Obasanjo was in fact an Igbo man. It's sad that we play that kind of tribal politics in Nigeria, but the politician would always throw up something that would just benefit him, and it will look sensible to him, whatever is advancing that position. So there is likely to be an implosion if they're not careful and read the room and know what is going on in the minds of the people and watch it very well. They may get to a point where the whole thing messes up again. But let's keep watching. We keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best, hoping that they will see reasons to take some right steps.
All right, Chibike Rotimi Amechi has reported to have indicated interest in running for president in 2027 on the platform of the ADC. So, how do you see that panning out? He is from River State. So, in the spirit of zoning, he should be running. That's what it is. He still continues to make the claim that they are part of those who brought Buhari to power. Of course.
Yes.
So, right now, the belief is that clearly power should remain in the South till 2031. Do you think that his venturing to run would mean that that's what we want?
Well,
That is, by that I mean those of them from the South. Is that what they're saying? That they want power to remain in the South? Because some people will say the more the merrier. The more presidential aspirants and candidates from the South, the merrier.
The merrier. Well, the reality is that when politicians speak, you must learn to take every speech they make with a pinch of the salt. Because whenever they speak out of the bias, they speak out of selfish motives. I'll give an example. Ojuso at some point said, it's not the turn of the South issue, relax and allow. Why was he saying that? Because he just knows that he won't be given a ticket and it's likely that it's going to be Tinubu. So let me just align with Tinubu and then start declaring, the South issue, go and rest and everything. So at the end of the whole day, it's just about their selfish reasons. When people like Rotimi Amechi were propping Buhari to come and take over, they must have had at the back of their mind that maybe after Buhari would come to them. And it became obvious to them that it's not going to happen. If I remember, I think it was in Abakaliki when they did one kind of a rally where Ataiza was saying something that after Buhari, it will now come over to Umahi. That was the permutation at that point. But we all see how it panned out, So but the good thing about primaries is that the idea behind primaries is that it weeds out, it makes the race narrower. You can have so many persons, and at the end of the whole day, we all narrow it down to maybe just one human being that will now stand for the party. That's the idea. So the reality of the matter is that, Rotimi Amechi has a very good argument. He's from the South. So if he decides to run, beautiful, that's fine. It's within his prerogative, it's within his, he can't do that. It's normal for him to, but so the idea should be, now, so what it will come down to, if we are talking about fairness and justice, the bottom line is, can you make this primaries or the election process transparent? Let it be the minds of the people. And for me, as a political watcher, what I actually pray for is a situation where every party brings out the best candidates. Nigeria would be beautiful if we do that. Imagine if whichever party, PDP, APC, whatever party, brings out the best to be their candidate or flag bearer. Nigeria will be very beautiful, because what it means is that however it goes, whatever party eventually wins, Nigeria will win. But then the problem is where we have a penchant for, I'm sorry I'm saying that, but that's the truth. We have a penchant for bringing the worst of us to come and be our flag bearer and eventually rule the people. We complain, and one section of the country, because maybe the person is from their own end, supports the person and sees no wrong until he leaves. The other people will start complaining, and you complain inside. I pray that we change our mindset really as Nigerians, and to understand that the battle and the divide is actually between the elites and the masses and nothing else. So Rotimi Amechi, it's within his right to seek to become the flag bearer for whether PDP or ADC, whichever one he chooses. But my own take on it is that, can we please allow whatever process we put into place, if it's a primary, let it be transparent. And let the best man come out to rule us. That's my own.
All right, so let's go back to the PDP now. The PDP, they will inaugurate their 2025 convention committee on Tuesday. They're saying that that's the main committee. According to a statement on Thursday signed by the PDP National Publicity Secretary Degbo Ologunagba. The announcement was made following the approval of the party's National Executive Committee. The statement said the inauguration will take place at the party's National Secretariat, Wadata Plaza, Abuja. And it noted that 110-member committee will be chaired by Adamawa State Governor Amadu Fintiri, while Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke will serve as vice chairman. Enugu State Governor Peter Mbah has been named secretary. Interesting times here. And while the rumor continues to heighten that Peter Mbah might be leaving the PDP, he hasn't showed up at any PDP event, especially at the national level, recently. So how do you think this will pan out? They've named him in the convention committee.
Well, the reality is until he decides one way or the other, he's still there. You can't deny him that. And sadly for PDP, the numbers in terms of the governors they have is depleting every day. So they would always want to rely on the people that they have. They can't really do anything about it because the numbers are depleting. So whether there's a rumor or whether they have this belief that this person is not too loyal again or may leave us, they will still make do what they have until it becomes obvious that this person is no longer with us. So whether they've had all the committees that they've set up, that's wonderful for them. Let's see how he actually participates well in the whole thing. But I can tell you from all indications, the politicians right now that I see, every one of them is trying to make up their mind for what suits them. Sadly, not what suits the masses, but what suits them, what would give them the leverage to come back again for second tenure, what will seal their fates for second tenure, and not really what would be beneficial to the masses. Because if we were truthful to ourselves, with the role that INEC played in the last election, with the fact that we know that the INEC leadership is still there, you will be kidding or not. You will not be truthful to yourself to think that it will be that easy if the powers at the center do not play a role in whatever you're doing. So you notice the trajectory right now. Most of them are trying to pander to the center. Anambra State, for example, Soludo has been in APGA, but has been showing everybody that, look, I'm with the presidency. I don't have a problem with him. He's my very good friend. He will go show up there, throw one or two shades on other people from other different places just to show that he is already with the person at the center. So I may not blame him. I won't blame the governor so much because that's the reality of our Nigerian politics. But I can say I wish things were different, that we did these things differently in this part of Nigeria, but then, or the part of the world. But then this is Nigeria for us. So until he speaks up and says, I'm no longer with PDP, we would assume that he's still with PDP and see how it pans out. Maybe, let me also play the devil's advocate again. Maybe he's concentrating on developing Enugu State and does not care about the politics of which party do I go into. Maybe that's his focus. And so if that's focus, good.
But unfortunately, nobody can run as an independent. No matter how you want to see it, no matter how distracting you think this is, the political part of the game is very, very important. In fact, after this year, if you haven't decided on where you will run, if you are seeking a second term or you are seeking you are coming up on board as a fresh contestant, you're going to run into a lot of problems.
Obviously.
Because anyone you are going to their party next year will ask for an arm and a leg.
Exactly.
So do you think that whatever decision he needs to make needs to be made as fast as possible?
Definitely. He has to make decision one way or the other because I believe that even his men will be watching to see the body language. Where are we going to from here? So, give or take, no matter how long it takes, the bottom line is that the decision has to be made one way or the other. But like I said before, it is really tied to, for me, because a sitting governor has a lot of powers. The mere fact that he's still there gives him a lot of leverage within the state. So I believe that if it was just about the state alone, maybe his control, I doubt if a governor would want to move. But then the reality is that you have the center, and they're the ones that conduct election. They're the ones that determine a lot of things. And you don't want them to dislodge you for whatever reason. So the selfishness of politicians come up again, trying for self-preservation. So find them trying to preserve themselves by moving to wherever they are sure that their fate will be secured. So I believe that's the reason. For me, that's what I believe is the reason. So whichever way it goes, let's watch him and pray he does it very fast. So everybody knows those who are realign will realign. Those who are moving to other parties will move to other parties. But then I just wish that we don't keep moving from party to party. That will sit in one place.
I'll come back to that a little later. But let's talk about the All Progressives Congress, who have clarified that despite the widespread endorsement of President Bola Tinubu for a second term, other party members interested in the presidency will still be free to contest the party's ticket in the 2027 primaries. APC National Organizing Secretary Sulaiman Arugungu stated this on Wednesday during an interactive session with journalists at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja. He reaffirmed that the party's leadership included the National Working Committee, the Progressive Governors Forum led by Governor Hope Uzodinma, and the National Assembly leadership under Senator Godswill Akpabio had endorsed Tinubu's re-election, his bid, in recognition of his outstanding performance. However, Arugungu stressed that the APC, as a party committed to democratic principles, would not shut its doors against other aspirants. There you have it. What do you say about this? The whole big stakeholders have endorsed the president, yet the organizing secretary is saying, "Well, you are free to come and run." Is this more like you are free to come and patronize the party by buying the nomination form?
Nigeria is a very funny country. We have this cliche that we normally say, the more you look, the less you see. And so when our politicians talk, they talk tongue-in-cheek and they just say a lot of things to just give an impression that we are practicing some kind of democracy. What we know, we actually want to achieve something at the end of the whole day. It's even like some of the interviews that the government sector, the civil service and several stratas do. Most of the times they must have chosen the person that they want to employ, and they just throw it open to everybody, come and write exams, and people will kill themselves trying to write exams. And at the end of the whole day, the same person they had in mind for setting up the entire charade still gets the whole thing. So whatever he says, any politician that believes that must be done. Except maybe it's just a way of maybe he was also, maybe they must have told him, okay, pick the form, or we'll pick the form for you, just contest, so that it will look as if we did some context, and so that it doesn't look to the people that we just handed over the tickets to just one person. But we all know eventually, who is that man that will challenge Tinubu in APC? That's an impossible. It's like what they did in, I think it was in Lagos, and there was a time they were having some. They said it was what kind of primaries were they conducting then? And they had a delegate system at some point, and after a while, they now said, okay, to make it more democratic, that they will open it up to everybody so that everybody can vote. And they were saying that this is the best. Eventually, the people that the Jagaba wanted still got in there. So all the things that they just did was just let us go put it up for everybody, so that they would not look as if we are selecting people. No, it won't look as if we are just having a delegate system and have a predetermined whatever. At the end of the whole day, the same thing was achieved. So whichever way it goes, let's keep deceiving ourselves, though. Let's keep deceiving ourselves.
All right, we'll take a break here on the Eastern Eye. When we return, we'll continue the conversation here on the Eastern Eye. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Eastern Eye here on Afia TV, a program that x-rays the political, social, and economic developments around us. My name is Alex Ogbodo. So let's talk about the PDP again, where the chieftain of the PDP, Senator Patrick Abba Moro is saying that the PDP erred by fielding Atiku Abubakar in the 2023 presidential elections. Is this more like, did he just wake up to realize whatever it is that they did, whether it was right or wrong? I mean, 2023, we're how many years after that election? Almost 3 years after. You're saying that, well, that you erred. Why did it take this long for someone in his standing to actually realize that?
Well, the thing is that, you know, I think that sometimes our politicians have this belief that they're invincible. They could do anything. They would always have their way and they'll come out tops. You remember one of the things that PDP used to say in those olden days was that they would stay there for the next, is it 50 years or something? But they would stay there for very long, very, very long time. And they were boasting about it at that point because they felt that there's no way anybody could dislodge them. But here we are, dislodged, and they're trying to find their feet. So I don't know what they thought about in that time. Now, my thinking is that it's likely they must have believed that maybe because the North, articles from the North, and that the North would want to follow their man. And once that happens, then because they have the numbers, and once that happens, the PDP will bounce back. And maybe they've seen the reality that it didn't just work the way they wanted it to work. Because really, anybody who looks at the numbers will see that if there was a merger of the P2B and Atiku, they would have beaten Tinubu by the hour. We also know that a lot of things have gone under the bridge. But if we follow the numbers, that's what we would have seen. So maybe, they're realizing it, okay, that was a mistake. But then, I give it to them, human beings make mistakes. And so the bottom line is, what do you do when you realize that you've made a mistake? You fall into a ditch, do you stay there? Do you repeat the same thing again and expect a different result? Or do you learn from your mistake and move on with it? That's a question we'll ask them. So it's not, I don't think we would have expected better analysis before they went into that. But we are here. It's happened. Where do we go from here? Would they want to make the same mistake again? That's a question for them. But then we'll keep watching them and we'll see what they will do in the next few months or years to come.
All right. So let's talk about the Nigeria Bar Association, which you have really played a role as, I think it was a secretary you were.
Publicity
secretary.
Yes.
So first of all, I was asking a lawyer that, I think it was last Friday.
Okay.
Why is it that the tenure of the NBA president is only for 2 years? He gave me an answer, but I would like to get your own answer.
Okay. Well, it's been that way for a very long time. One. Number two, there is that NBA, there was a time NBA had some crisis. And for some time, we didn't have a leadership. And, it was in limbo for some time and had to bounce back again. So a lot of things actually determined the decisions. One of the things that NBA also does is that they do rotation. The presidency, for example, rotates between the North, the Southeast, and the Southwest. So you do 2 years, you move to the next region for 2 years, move to the next region for 2 years. The other angle is that one of the other things that we also do in our constitution is that whoever is the president, or where the region that produces the president also produces the first vice president. The wisdom is that if anything happens to the president, let's say, for example, he resigns or gets promoted gets to somewhere else, or maybe dies or something, it's still retained within that. And these are things that came up as a result of the crisis then. Now, so I also believe that the wisdom behind the making of the 2 years is that it helps reduce tension. It could be a disadvantage, but it's also an advantage. One of the advantages is this: no matter how brilliant you are, no matter how good you are, after your 2 years, you leave the scene, another person comes in. Now, no matter how bad you are, and the people are groaning, 2 years, because in Nigeria, impeaching somebody or removing somebody from office is a Herculean task. So, constitutionally, the person does it for 2 years and he leaves the scene for somebody else to come. That's a very beautiful arrangement. So, by the time you do that too, you also have the agitation for maybe from one angle to the other angle gets reduced. Because no matter how much you feel so bad about a person, you're looking forward to the 2 years, ending. One of the problems, my friend, if you talk about in Nigeria, my friend will tell me is that remember that when you complain about this administration, they will tell you that they have 8 years to go. So when you think about the 8 years, you lose hope. You feel like, man, for the next 8 years, we'll be in this whatever we're passing through right now for the next 8 years. So it's a very beautiful scheme. 2 years, you do your bits and you go. And if you know what you're doing, within 2 years, you can achieve so much. I was a part of the Olumide Akpata regime. I was a public secretary when Olumide Akpata was the president of Nigerian Bar Association. We achieved a lot within 2 years. He did a lot within 2 years. From the first day we went into office, it was walk back to back until we left office. So you can achieve a lot within 2 years. And after that, you leave the same for other people to come in.
Absolutely. Well said. So I understand Maazị Afamozigwe, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, will be concluding his tenure. So which region is supposed to produce the next NBA president?
You go to the Southwest.
All right.
To the South. So when in the NBA Constitution, the West comprises of the core West and the Midwest. So you have states like Delta, Edo, as part of the West. So it's going back to them. They will produce a president now.
So when will that election happen?
Normally it should be in June, either in June or July. Because the handover is normally in August after the conference. So the idea is that by June or July, the election must have been done. And then at the next year's conference, the handover will be done there.
So typically, every NBA chairman, the way it is now, or president, will see two AGCs.
Yes.
And moves away. The next person sees two AGCs and moves
away. Exactly.
So, who qualifies to run for NBA presidency?
Well, okay, so when you look at, there are several criteria. Number one is your region where you're from. So if it rotates to the Southwest, for example, no other region comes out. So nobody from the North comes out, nobody from the East comes out. It's just for the Southwest. You must be 15 years at the bar. So 15 years at the bar is also the minimum criteria. There are other criterias. The person should be a man of means, some of those things. It should be in private practice as a lawyer. So these are just the minimum qualifications. Then you talk about the sponsorship and everything. The people that sponsor. Now, what I mean sponsorship, I mean the people that would let me sign that they're sponsoring this person. The person must be as qualified as the president. So whatever qualification the president has, they should also have the same. So these are the basic qualifications to run for the presidency. But then, most people think that, so you mustn't be a senior advocate of Nigeria.
Okay.
You must not be. But then...
But it looks like it's becoming desirable now.
Most of the times.
So, but there's something I noticed, because if you go there to opera, especially, where you have them, you have that long list of presidents. I think from the 90s there. I think I saw only about 2 females or just 1 female.
Yes.
Is there a reason why we don't see female NBA presidents as often as we see the men?
Well, there's no reason for that, because the reality of the matter is this: everything has to be on merit. That's the bottom line. Apart from being on merit, I'll tell you the truth. What goes on in the campaigning is not beans. It's not child's play. It is intense. So
you have to be a man of means, exactly. Or a woman of means.
A woman of means.
So could that be the reason there?
So it could. So it's okay. Now, when I talk about what goes on in the campaign, apart from maybe the monetary aspect, the stress that goes with it. Now, so you're talking about 120-something branches of the Nigerian Bar Association. You know what it means to visit all those branches in maybe within the period that the campaign is open. So you keep traveling from one place to the other. A lot of things happen. In fact, I'll tell you the truth. Most of the times, during the campaigns, people most of the times leave their practice completely. In fact, I'm not even talking about the period between when the campaigns are open. I'm talking about maybe a year or 2 before, or even 3 years or 4 years before the campaign is open. people start moving around, and it's intense. So most of the time, maybe that's one of the reasons that dissuade the women for. But right now, there are about 4 people right now running for. Well, not running yet. The campaigns are not open, but who has indicated interest, and we have 2 female among them. So,
do you think that maybe something could be in the offing now? Maybe the whole affirmative action thing will kick in.
Well, I would not want to. I want to be political in this one now because I also have an interest. So I won't want to say whatever now, so that nobody will say I'll say
because of this and that.
Exactly. Yes.
So I mean, you've been a publicity secretary. So what other position are you qualified to run for?
Well, I'm more than 15 years at the bar. I'm 21, even though I came out from the law school. I was very young when I went to the law school, so I'm qualified for almost every position in the NBA, the presidency, the secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association. I actually have an interest in running for one. I'm consulting now, but because the campaigns are not open, I'm not allowed to say whichever one I'm interested in.
You're still consulting?
Yes, I'm still consulting.
Yeah, and that consultation can take you to the 36 states and Abuja.
I tell you, my brother.
So does this tell us that you're a man of means?
Well, I would say I'm a man that God has been helping. That's all I can say. A man that God has been helping.
All right. I asked one of the LOC members this question last Friday when the AGC was just about to commence. What's the benefit of the AGC for Nigerian lawyers? Is this just that time of the year where they just come and forget about going to file cases in court? What is it about it looks like it's a big deal.
Yeah,
I've been getting all the reports. I've been there myself. I can see that there's a lot of pride. You are seeing people who almost behave like they have wings, but I'm not seeing wings on them. But the confidence is palpable. So what is it about the NBA NGC?
Well, there's a lot of things. Okay, so I'll try to itemize some. Number one is that it's the time of the year when you get to meet your friends. So yesterday, about 2 days ago, I was standing somewhere. There was a party going on somewhere. So I just went to the place. So while I was just standing there, I saw some 3 men standing, and I wanted to shake them. As I brought out my hand, I now noticed that the guy was my law school mate. You need to see the way I screamed. Because I've been looking for him for years. So I was surprised to see him standing before me. So I screamed and I hugged him, and somebody just said to me, that is the essence of the AGC. So apart from that, it's also a time that you come together to articulate a lot of positions. Now, I say that in a lot of forums that it's not enough for us to just come together and just talk about issues and just go back and we continue the same way or in whatever we've been doing. But it creates a platform for people to come together, for lawyers to come together and talk about the troubles that they find out in practice, speak about a lot of things, call authorities to order, tell them that they've not been doing well, speak to power. And most of the times, because the authorities normally try to identify with NBA, it's also a platform to tell them to their faces what they're not doing well. So, for example, I think it was yesterday, there was one of the sessions that was going on. I think it was an AIG or Commissioner of Police that was also there. And somebody asked him to his face, why does the police collect money when you come to lodge a complaint and they can't swing it to action? Well, he tried to sketch through the whole thing, but so it gives us that platform. You also get to learn other. You say the Igbo say. I don't know how to say it in English, but if you visit somebody's house, that's when you know that the chair in your house has gone bad, or the curtains in your house has gone bad. So the more you go and you see other people, you find that I may think I may be doing very well in my area of practice, but I'm not doing too well. There are other people that are very far better than me. So you get to listen to them, get to learn from them. I saw the one man yesterday, and the day before yesterday, and so we just we were eating, and we started talking about taxation. And his perspective about taxation intrigued me. And I told him that I think I would look into this taxation because everybody sees that all the governors are now trying to stifle the masses with taxation, with taxes. So it provided me another perspective. Oh, I should actually start looking at how taxation law as a practice area. So these are, that's another thing. It also provides lawyers an opportunity to unwind. Naturally, you get so busy with work that you don't get to unwind at all. And these are things that affect us. I think we had what we call the Mbah yesterday. The time I saw, the Two-Face came for the Mbah, whatever. At least that's the one I saw, and before I left, the arena. So it's an opportunity for several parties. But there's another branch having a party this night. So it's a complete package of so many things. You get to see the booksellers, for example, in their stands. It may have been difficult for you to get across to them on a normal day. Before I came to this place, I had to go to the bookstores to buy about 2 books, one on telecommunication law and one on taxation, so that I can have a look and read through and everything. So it comes with a complete package.
I mean, with everything you've mentioned, I'm scratching my head. Is it possible I should go and get a degree in law? But that's still looming somewhere. It's still looming somewhere. There's this saying, I don't get tired of repeating it, that they say law is a great feeling, that only lawyers feel it.
Yes.
How true is that?
Yeah, definitely. Because the practice of law changes your perspective over a lot of things. For example, people say that lawyers are difficult, but most of the times, that difficulty comes from a place of experience, because you see a lot of people. You see people fail. You see people because people come with their troubles and they place it on you. You look at the mistakes that they've made. And so most of the time, that's why the standards become higher for the lawyer. So when you see them fail, you try to make sure that in your own sphere, you don't make the same kind of mistakes that this person has made, because the standards are higher for you. You know so much. So it's really a feeling. And you find that the more you practice, the more you talk in a particular way, the more everything about you changes kind of, in line with the law and practice.
Learned gentleman, Dr. Rapulu Nduka, former National Publicity Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association. Thank you.
Thank you
for
so
talking
much.
to us on the Eastern Eye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, and that's the Eastern Eye for tonight. We'll be here tomorrow same time for another episode of the program. My name is Alex Ogbodo. Good night.